welcome back to the podcast, Caleb Ewan. First of all, congrats off the top. I imagine for you, it's like a somewhat of a disappointing end result, frustrating, infuriating result, but like all in all, the Poggio climb, everything, like it was out of control.
Yeah, the result is disappointing, but I am happy with my performance, and in the end, like I did everything I could, and in racing, like, yeah, I mean, there's always stuff that's out of your control. It doesn't matter how good you're going. So yeah, like I'm happy with my performance, but obviously it would have been nice to win.
Does it do your head in a little bit, like second again?
Yeah, it's so frustrating. So I really want to win it.
Yeah.
And, it's not like a stage race where you get like another chance. Like, if you lose the first stage of the tour, for example, there's going to be like, all right, I've still got like 5 more chances or something. One day race is more frustrating. It's like, damn, I have to wait like another year to try again.
And you've just put in like 300K to get to that point in the race.
Yeah, exactly. You've been like on the bike for almost 7 hours by that point. So yeah, it's frustrating, but
how was
not much I could have done.
How was your health heading into it? You obviously put out of Torino, a little bit sick.
Well, I'll give you my story of what happened. So I was going really good, like in training. Like I knew I was going good, especially on like the small climbs like that. So I was confident that when San Remo came around, I'd be good. And then, without Down Under, and I think Valencia was my first race that got cancelled. So the only race I'd done is UAE. Then I had Torino and then San Remo. So I kind of thought like I needed Torino, just to like build my form a little bit more, to get like kind of that race resilience. But like a few days out from Torino, I started getting like cramping pain in my stomach. My legs were fine, but it's just like my stomach was sore, and my appetite was fine, and I wasn't sick like anywhere else, just a sore stomach. And then it just kind of like I started the race and it was still bad, and then like every day it was just getting like worse and worse. And then in the end I got like an ultrasound in my stomach and I had like a blocked intestine. So I had to like obviously like unblock it, and then like after I did that, it just felt like I had no energy left. So that was the day that you saw me pull out in Torino. Like I just felt like I had nothing. So then I just thought, all right, it's probably better to pull out than keep pushing through it, because we were only a week away from San Remo, and I knew like if I came back to good health that I'd have a good chance of being good there. So I just pulled out of the race and then tried to recover. I had like a few days off and just tried to recover. I still wasn't feeling that good on the Monday, still wasn't feeling that good on the Tuesday, and still on the Wednesday I was kind of coming back, but I wasn't like feeling as good as I hoped. But then I still had like 2 days of just, I had like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday like a training block, and then Thursday and Friday I had easy again before the race. So I knew, all right, like I wasn't feeling as good as I wanted to on Wednesday, but at least like I'll have a few more days of recovery, and then hopefully by the Saturday I feel good. And in the end it worked out well, and I think I came back to like 100% health on the day.
So you had a blocked intestine?
Yeah.
What on earth? How does that happen?
I don't know actually.
And how do they unblock it?
Well, I mean, just something like gets washed out.
Yeah.
Through some it's like laxative kind of thing to wash it out. I
Were
don't want to go
you
into too much detail.
were you like stressing? Because obviously you knew you're in good nick and you're going into the week of the race not feeling 100%.
Well, was it stressing? A little bit, but when things are really like out of my control like that, I don't stress too much because it's out of my control. Doesn't matter how much I stress about it, it's not going to make itself any better. So I was pretty relaxed, to be honest. I knew you just need to like stay relaxed. I knew my legs were good, so I knew just like as long as my energy came back, I'll be all right. Had like special diet and everything to like try to get my intestines like back to normal, and my stomach back to normal. So I did like everything I could to recover, and yeah, I knew I still had a week to recover. So usually when you have a stomach problem like that, it doesn't last too long. So I knew like if everything went well that I'd be kind of back to normal.
What were you doing in the lead up? Because obviously, last year you were quick, but struggling a bit climbing wise. Whereas like you were hooking up the Poggio.
Yeah, like last year's a bad example because like I think like to explain it, my natural talent is my sprint. So I don't have to train it so much. Like the thing I have to train for the most is getting through like a grand tour or getting through the 300 kilometers of the race on San Remo and getting up the climbs. The sprint part is like my natural talent. Like that's what I'm good at. So I don't have to work on it so much. And I think last year, what happened was I started the year really good. Then we went into lockdown where I lived in Monaco. So we weren't allowed out of the apartment. So obviously I couldn't really train outside. I didn't even know when we were going to start racing again. So I wasn't that motivated to do like a whole pile on Zwift or whatever. So I didn't do much for 2 months. So I basically almost had 2 months off in the middle of the season. Then it was like, all right, racing's going to start again. We had like 2 months to prepare. And I think I just never came back to like my good self. I was just all right, but not great. And yeah, I was always struggling on the climbs. There's a few things last year, like changed my position a bit when I was in lockdown because I think I felt like a bit different when I was on the ergo compared to like on the road. So I thought my position needs to be changed. I changed it, and then I don't think it was good. I think my seat was like too low. So now, like a little thing, like my seat, I think is like more than a centimeter higher now than it was last year during the tour. And I think like that doesn't sound like much, but it makes a massive difference on your legs. So I think it was like a few things last year that made me go pretty bad on the climbs, because generally like I'm all right on the climbs anyway, but last year I was just terrible. And then I think like having like that race block again just kind of like built my form up. I had like normal off season, and then I started training really well again. And like always, like my first big goal of the year is San Remo. So I knew I had to be good at like 5-minute power and 10-minute power to get over the Cipressa and Poggio. So I worked a lot on that. I even did things like when I went to the Poggio, like I went to the Poggio and Cipressa and did like race pace up them. I even did things like on the Poggio, I would ride like a really hard tempo till the steep part where they attack, and then just like attack myself in training and like things like that. So I really went into like a lot of detail to make sure that I could do everything possible to make sure I'm there at the top, because that was the part I always struggled on. I usually got to the Poggio, but once it got to the steep part, like a kilometer from the top, when they attack, I never could follow, and like I could never like accelerate again. I could just hold kind of the same tempo to the top. So I really did a lot of specific training to like make sure I could follow the moves, and yeah, in the end it paid off.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Who are you going down? How far is the Poggio from your house?
Oh, it's like, I think like if I do a ride from my place to like Cipressa, Poggio back, it's like 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah. And how many times are you going down doing these sessions?
Not that many times, but just like kind of leading up to the race, I'll do it like probably like 5 times or something. But like up and down the Poggio, like I wouldn't just like do it once. So you just like go and do like repeats.
Yeah.
Nice. So when you get there, you're like, all right, you know like how you feel on the climb and all that kind of stuff, and you know exactly, like I knew exactly when they were going to attack, and just kind of like pumped myself up and got ready for it.
Yeah, nice. Let's talk about the run into the Poggio. It was pretty messy. There was people going everywhere, but you had a couple of boys around you, pretty good little team structure there. And then we just hit the Poggio, and all of a sudden Caleb Ewan's in fourth wheel, just sitting on the Ineos training, perfect posse. How
Yeah,
was
I
how are
yeah
you feeling about that running and everything that went on there?
yeah. Well, I mean, if we rewind a little bit there, Trapessa, I was in that second group. Like I wasn't in the first group. So
Oh
the
yeah.
second group when it split, yeah. Someone couldn't hold the wheel in descent. I don't know who it was, but anyway, someone lost the wheel, caused a massive split in the bunch. And then I was kind of like, oh, it's not ideal, obviously. And the other thing was I really need to go to the toilet like before Trapessa. And I was like, I just need to hold on to it now and just get over Trapessa and then I can go. Then
Mm.
obviously like that messed my plans up a little bit because I was in a chasing group then. But anyway, I still went. Just
Hey,
started.
you went to the toilet still.
Yeah, well, off the bike. I could start at the front of the group and then by the time I was
Uh,
finished, I was at the back of the group.
but
But anyway, I had
in the
like
second group, like you're in the second group,
yeah, I
and
really like I really need to go. I don't know what it was that race. Like I was going to the toilet like 10 times, I think, over the whole day. Don't know why. Just nerves, maybe. I was
uh,
drinking too much. I don't know. Anyway, I had to go a lot, and I had to go in the final of the race. It's probably good to like get rid of some fluid before the Poggio anyway, so I'm not carrying a bladder full of wee. Um, but yeah, I was pretty relaxed there because I knew like it should come back together. I had a few teammates with me there. A few teammates in the front. And I was always going to be like guys in my group that want to be at the front as well. So I didn't have to do any turns. I just sat on and yeah, my teammates got me back to the front group, and then we were like 4K from the Poggio, so then we pretty quickly had to get back to the front of the bunch and then kind of start our lead into the Poggio. But I really like told the guys that, well, I didn't really tell the guys. I had Jasper with me, and I told him because he wanted to get over the Poggio as well. And I said, like, yeah, in an ideal scenario, like you'll be able to get over and you'll be there to help me in the end. But I said, like, it's way more important that I use you going to the Poggio. And if you really need to go like full gas and use all your energy there, then that's what's going to have to happen. Because if you start the Poggio too far back, then basically your race is over. Especially for me, because like they're already going so fast. So if I have to use the effort to move up the bunch on the climb, then I go way too far into the red and I won't recover from that. So it was really important that I started in good position, and yeah, they put me in a great position beforehand.
mm. And were you feeling good, or after that kind of effort of you had to get back on, you had to go so like you're going so hot on that flat section in the run into the climb, like you're a bit buckled, and you've got 280 k's in your legs, 280k
Yeah,
plus in your legs. Like you're a bit buckled when you hit the bottom. Like were you
well,
confident that
300 is
you
10K neutral in San Remo. If the
10?
300K race wasn't enough, but yeah, no, yeah, of course. I think you're doing like like 400-500 watts coming into the climb, so it's
Mm.
definitely not easy. And it's like a slight rise uphill, and then like fast, kind of like a couple of percent downhill. So it is a really fast, hard running, and obviously, like everyone has the same idea as us. So you can imagine like a whole bunch trying to get in there first, how hard it is. And I mean, I think like I didn't have my heart rate or my power on in the race, but in the past when I've looked at it, I've started like even Cipressa, I've started the climb at 200 heart rate. Like my heart rate's already that high before the climb even starts. So I think like, and not many people realize how hard the running is, because you've got guys that like their race is finished yet, so they're just committing full gas. It's like doing a proper lead out, and then you have to then climb up 5 or 6 minutes full gas as well. But yeah, I felt really good, so that was a bonus.
Don't you run a power meter anymore?
No, I usually do, but I just like needed all the help I could get to get over the climb as like
Lit-
a bike light as possible.
yeah, nice. And so Ineos were riding pretty hard. Was that a good thing? Like that play to you?
Yeah, because they rode like a good tempo where I felt like obviously it was really hard, but like I wasn't like really in the red. So they rode a tempo where people would like think twice about attacking. That's why you never saw any attacks until like that kind of kilometer to go. So yeah, I think it really kind of played into my favor. The only part that I thought like maybe I was too far near the front was on the flat section when I was second wheel behind Van Baal. And I thought like there you're going like around 40 or 45 kilometers an hour, I think. So I was taking a fair bit of wind. But yeah, in the end, I think it's just much better to be forward, like out of like the fighting behind, and you get much more of like a relaxed ride, even if you're maybe pushing a few more watts.
Mm. And when Alaphilippe went, that kind of first move, were you like, "Yep, I can follow this. I'm here. I'm in the zone. This is going real well."
So yeah, I didn't like react immediately because he came past so quick. I was like, oh god. I was like pumping myself up, like, all right, I'm ready for these attacks now. And he just came like flying past. And I was like, oh shit. But like a few guys like started like jumping as well, and then by the time a few guys jumped, I jumped as well, and then I felt quite good. Like when I say I felt good, like it was full gas, and I was full gas, but I just generally I wouldn't be able to follow. So in that case, yeah, I felt good.
Mm. Was there a point there where you almost attacked?
Yeah, so I was gonna attack, not like not a big attack, but just like
What were
they
you
like kind of
thinking?
propped. I don't know, just good opportunity. They kind of like propped and like no one was doing anything. So I was like, oh, I'll just do like a semi attack, and it's gonna stop like big launches coming from behind. I still felt pretty good and just thought like, oh, why not? But then Van Aert had the same idea, I think, because like as soon as like I was accelerating, he started, and in the end, like it worked perfectly. So I just like jumped straight on his wheel, and he basically went from that point to the top full gas. So I'd already kind of like accelerated and then jumped on his wheel. So yeah, it worked out perfectly.
It would have been a good alpha move, like the fastest man in the race, just whacking the climbers over the top of the Poggio. So look out,
Yeah,
boys.
would have been nice to crest him in the first place, but might never ever get that opportunity again. So I should have just done it anyway.
It's so obviously you hit, like, what are you thinking at the top of the climb? Like,
Um,
do you get like, I was so nervous.
yeah, I was pretty nervous, but I just think like, all right, because it's like now it's not like in the past if you go over the top with like 10 guys or something, you're like, all right, none of these guys will be able to sprint. But then you got those guys like Van Aert and Van der Poel, like they can still probably beat me in sprint, especially after a hard race like this. So I wasn't like 100% confident that I'd be able to beat them, but I knew like I felt really good. Like I know in the past how it felt going over the Poggio, and I knew this time I felt much better. So I was always like able to follow the moves and everything, and all the accelerations on the bottom. So I knew I was good. What I was nervous about happening was what ended up happening. So I knew there was going to be guys in the group that obviously didn't back themselves against, Van Aert or Van der Poel or me maybe, and so I knew there was going to be guys attacking. And there's always like a moment of hesitation when we all look at each other, and when there's only 2K left of the race to go, when you hesitate like that, then if they get 5 or 10 second gap, it's kind of all over. So yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah. Is the downhill scary, super hot, or well, like you obviously had good posse the whole way down, like third or fourth wheel, but I think when like Peacock gave it a bit of a squirt, like, is that wildly quick?
Yeah, he's going pretty quick. All right, sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was going pretty quick because he like attacked, so he was just like going full gas. But I mean, it wasn't scary. It's just just know you're going quick and done the descent before. It's more scary when you don't know the descents and you're really flying down them. But I know the descent pretty well now, so no, it wasn't too scary.
Yeah. Jasper went first. What was going on? Like, she just runs through that last kind of that 3K to go mark.
Well,
Play
yeah,
by
like
play from there.
we're coming down. So basically, like, we're coming down the hill. We got to the bottom, and we all propped, like no one was away. We were like kind of looking at each other, and he came with like a fair bit of speed from the back, and just got that jump on us. Everyone kind of like looked at each other, but he was flying. So he's got that big gap at the bottom, and then there's like a few other moves to bridge across to him, and I just knew like, all right, if I'm going to win this race, these guys with me are much stronger than me. So I can't be doing the chasing because I know like I've got like maybe one good sprint left in me. So I wasn't gonna really. I had to like just wait and like hope that someone was gonna bring it back. No one there really had teammates. Bora had like Sagan and Shackman, so I don't know why Shackman didn't bring it back. But other than that, like no one had teammates to bring it back. So I was kind of like waiting. I was on Ben Art too because I thought he would probably be the strongest in the sprints, and he was covering quite a lot. But yeah, I mean, in the end, there wasn't like any cooperation from the guys behind, which is pretty normal in a situation like that. Everyone's kind of like saving themselves for the sprints. And I guess guys were waiting as well. Like if we brought Jasper back, that someone else would end up going. So I just like all I could do was like, all right, I knew like, all right, if I'm gonna win this race, I just have to like wait here, and then try to do the sprints as best as I can, and that's what I did. But yeah, Jasper was too strong and just stayed away.
Yeah, you timed it well perfectly with Crow Anderson coming over the top. Like it was.
Yeah, I timed my sprints and everything perfectly, but he was just too far in front.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there was nothing more I could do. I think in the race, like I raced it like if I had to go back and do it again, I'd probably race it the same way because I know that that's my only chance to win is save myself for the sprint and be able to do a good sprint.
There was that point there at about I don't know, maybe between like 2 and 1K to go, like say 1.5, where it was like you were back together. It was almost back together. They were just there.
Yeah. But see, the thing is, like, Van Aert, he was probably the one most people were looking at. Like, he was the guy that won it the year before. And, he's probably the strongest there. So, I don't know, we were all, like, looking at him to hopefully bring it back. But, yeah, I mean, in the end, I think he was also waiting because he didn't want to use all his energy up either because
Yeah.
then he would be out of sprint in the end. Like I said, like if anyone in that front group, like Vanderpool or Van Aert or any of those guys, or me, for example, like if any of us had teammates there, it's a completely different scenario. But it's kind of like junior racing when you don't have teammates and like everyone kind of looks at each other. No one wants to do too much more than the others, but that's all happening in like the last 2 kilometers of the race. So as long as there's that little bit of hesitation, then it's easy for a guy to stay away.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're still happy you made that call to use your teammates heading into the Poggio?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy I used Jasper because that was his job. But our team went into the race. There's 7 guys in the team. Our team went into the race with 4 leaders. And we always kind of said like we're talking about scenarios, and it's always like, all right, if one of the leaders don't make it over, it's going to be me. And then we said like, all right, if I make it over, then at least like Tim or Phil or something's going to get over. So I was surprised that none of the other guys were there, because yeah, in theory, I'm the weakest out of the 4 of them. So when you look at it like that, we only had 3 domestics. I had one guy to pull. One guy was with Phil. I had one guy to help me into Cipressa, which was Roger, and then one guy to help me into Poggio, which was Jasper. And then we said, all right, if there's more than one of us at the top, or if I'm still in the group at the top with like Phil, for example, or Tim or John, then they would help me in the end. But yeah, in the end, I was just by myself, and it was the same scenario for I think all the guys. Like all the guys only, no one really had any teammates there.
Were they on shockers?
I don't know, to be honest, because yeah, in general, those guys are much stronger than me on a climb like that.
Yeah. You must have just been flying.
I think I was on like a really good ride.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. So what's next for you? What's coming up?
Wait, hold on. Sorry.
You got like 5-10 more minutes.
Yeah. What's next for me? I'm having a break now. And then I think my next race will be Valencia. and then the Giro, then the Tour and the Vuelta. So.
Oh yeah, you're gonna go all the way through like the Giro. We go to the end.
No, I don't plan on it.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I think I'll just do like, because like my goal is to win the stage in all three. So, as long as I can win a stage in the Giro, then I'm happy, and then hopefully I'll win a stage in the Tour, and then if I've won a stage in both by then I will I'll go for the Welter as well.
Are they taking you to the Tour as the sole leader or a dual kind of approach like Milan-San Remo?
Oh, nah, they'll take some of their other good guys as well. But I mean, I think like the last few years, I'd say like I'm a sole leader, but the other guys get their chances, like De Gent and Wellens and everything. They get their chances in the break. So I'm happy. Like I prefer it when it's like that because those guys also can help me in the sprint stages. But yeah, it's nice for them to get their chances as well. And if one of them wins a stage, it also takes pressure off me. So I like that. We have guys, and that we have a few different options in the race instead of just like one option. So it's a lot of pressure on me as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, you must be running off a super high, even though I didn't quite get the A result that you're after. Like the condition must be in super nick. So look out, Grand Tours.
It's all
Thanks
going to
for
waste now because I'm not racing anymore. I was watching the Palmer yesterday. And I was like, maybe it would have been good to go there. Just I feel like it's kind of a waste of form. But then when I like look at what's coming ahead, if I do all the 3 Grand Tours, then it's going to be plenty for the year. So yeah, I just need to take my rest now, relax, and then once I start again, it's going to be full gas to the end of the season. So yeah.
Do you worry about like maintaining it, like keeping it that level?
No, I think that's one thing I do well is like hold it. But I think I do it well because I have like good breaks during the season. Like I'm good at like bringing my form up and bringing it back down and bringing it up because I think like I'm expected to win from the start of the season to the very end of the season, and you can't just like maintain like a flat line the whole way. You have to peak for different things. So like now, for example, I've got like the Giro and Tour of World coming up, so I'll have to be able to manage that really well. That I recover enough after say the Giro, for example, but then like bring it back up that I'm in really good form again for the Tour, and then I'll have to do the same after the Tour to go to the Vuelta as well, because you can't go to any of these races now at like 85%. You have to be at 100% to win. So it's always hard to manage, but we'll see.
Is it normal now having, just one last question, is it normal now having the cross boys at the front of the race?
Yeah, I think I'm going to start cyclocross.
Yeah.
Seems to work well. I spoke to Vanderpool. I said to him, I might start cyclocross because you guys are so good. And he said, yeah, I'll teach you how to do it. So might take him up on that.
Is he
by the world champion?
Is Vanderpool cool as? Like, has he got
Yeah,
heaps
he's
of
a nice
swagger?
guy. Oh, he's a nice guy. I think he's like quite down to earth for how good he is. So but I've known him since like when Brad and I went to Holland as under 19s. It was kind of like Brad and I and him always racing each other, and we would always have to like work together to try to beat him because he was already good back then. So
You guys same
I've
age?
known him for a long time. I think he's like a year younger than me. So,
Yeah.
but we were like junior at the same time. So I've known him for a while, but yeah, nice guy.
Was he off chops back then?
Yeah, he was really good. I remember people saying like he's going to be super good as a pro, because they said he didn't train back then and he was already really good. So like watch this guy, once he starts training he's going to be really good. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, if he's not training already then he's going to be really good.
Was Van Aert there as well?
No, because he was racing in Belgium. I was racing in Holland.
Okay. Yeah.
The different races, I think. I don't know if I raced Van Aert actually as a junior. I can't remember.
Super. All right. Enjoy your break.
Cool. Thank you.
And talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, mate.